Welcome once again to Lehto's Law. Here's Steve Lehto.
Josh sent me a story, and this is actually happening in various states right now around the country. So I'm going to give Pennsylvania as the example. That's one Josh sent me. But the question is, if you went to college, got your degree, went to law school, got your degree, and you were preparing to take the bar exam, and there's 2 bar exams in most states every year. There's usually a February bar and a July bar. So you're preparing to take the July bar, all this work you put into it, and guess what? The July bar has probably been put off. So what do you do? So they could tell you, well, wait till February, but that doesn't seem right. And so many states are now making provisions specifically for those attorneys who are about to sit for the July bar. Knowing that you can provisionally become an attorney, sort of, with certain restrictions, and practice law with restrictions between now and when you actually get a chance to sit for the bar, which might be February of next year. So here is the official ruling from Pennsylvania, and I've seen several other states that have allowed this. But if you're in this situation, I'm sure you're on top of this, but this is fascinating to people who are not attorneys because it makes you wonder, what would happen if you went to all the trouble and then you laser focused for 7 or 8 years on this one date, and suddenly it gets adjourned, Order permitting limited practice by persons unable to sit for July 2020 Pennsylvania bar exam because of COVID-19. This is a Supreme Court document issued by the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania. And it comes out as a court order. That's how courts speak through their orders. And it says order. And now, this 28th day of April, 2020, so this happened a little while ago, upon the recommendation of the Pennsylvania Board of Law Examiners. So the Supreme Court of the state is who oversees the court systems. And somewhere along the line, they created a Board of Law Examiners. And the Board of Law Examiners is who conducts the bar exam and says, here's who passed the bar exam, here's who did not pass the bar exam. And then there's some other things you've got to do to become a licensed practice law. But the bar exam is, without question, the biggest hurdle. It is ordered pursuant to Article 5, Section 10 of the Constitution of Pennsylvania and some rules of the judicial administration that persons unable to sit for the July 2020 Pennsylvania bar exam because of COVID-19 shall be permitted to temporarily engage in the limited practice of law. So temporary, limited practice of law. First of all, A, limited practice permitted. The requirements for the limited practice of law by a person who is unable to sit for the July 2020 bar exam because the administration of the bar exam has been postponed or canceled because of COVID-19 include the following. The 2020 limited licensee is a graduate from a law school that was ABA accredited at the time that the 2020 limited licensee matriculated or graduated, who received without exception a Juris Doctor degree and has never failed the Pennsylvania bar exam. So if you've already failed it once, this doesn't count for you. But if you're a brand new, shiny new graduate of law school, okay, and you're about to take your first bar exam, this applies to you. 2, the Pennsylvania Board of Law Examiners has not determined that the 2020 limited licensee lacks the current character and fitness required to be a member of the bar of the court. And so, just so you know, when you apply to become an attorney, not only do you have a law degree and pass the bar exam, but you've got to pass what's called character and fitness. In most states, they've actually got a separate thing that you do where you fill out a questionnaire, extremely intrusive, and you give them your resume, you give them your fingerprints. I'm not kidding you. You get fingerprinted. They run a background check on you. They actually dig into your past and look for anything that could be an indication that you lack the character or fitness to be an attorney. And so, presumably, if you've applied for the July 2020 bar exam, you've already submitted your character and fitness application. So if that came back bad, you're out. And trust me, you got bigger problems because you got to go resolve that issue first. The 2020 limited licensee has filed an application to sit for the bar exam. So in other words, if you graduated but had decided not to take this bar exam, if you haven't applied to take the bar exam, you can't say, oh, but I want to take the limited thing. You can't do that. You must have also applied to sit for the bar exam. The 2020 limited licensee shall be supervised by a member of the bar of this court as described in this order and as certified as prescribed in the subdivision below. So you've got to find, in essence, a sponsor. Okay, they don't call it a sponsor in that sense, but you'll be supervised by a member of the bar. So you got to go out and find an attorney who will babysit you. The 2020 limited licensee shall agree to adhere to the Pennsylvania rules of professional conduct and to submit to any applicable disciplinary authorities to the same extent as a generally licensed attorney. So yeah, you want the rights, you get the responsibilities. The 2020 limited licensee shall have submitted to the board a declaration executed subject to a charge of perjury for false statements, confirming that all of the foregoing requirements have been met and asking for certification as a 2020 limited licensee. The board shall offer a form on which such a declaration may be submitted. So contact the board, they'll give you the form, and you have to sign it under penalty of perjury. In order to be eligible for the benefits of this order, an applicant must have filed an application to sit for the Pennsylvania bar exam, and the board must have received an affirmative certification from the law school from which the applicant was graduated, certifying the applicant has been awarded without exception the JD from the school, and to the best of the law school's knowledge, the applicant has the character and fitness required to be a member of the bar of this court. So they're going to double check to make sure you graduated, you got your JD without exception, and that you, according to the law school, actually have the character and fitness to do this. Now, the attorney must be supervised. And the attorney under whose supervision a 2020 limited licensee engages in limited practice permitted by this order shall have been an actively practicing member of the bar of the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania for at least 5 years. So you can't go out and find somebody who graduated last year and has been practicing for a few weeks. No. You got to find somebody who's been practicing for 5 years minimum to supervise you. They shall assume personal, professional responsibility for ensuring that the 2020 limited licensee's legal work is competent and compliant with the Pennsylvania rules of professional conduct. They shall submit a certification to the board naming the 2020 limited licensee and confirming that the supervising attorney agrees to comply with his or her obligations pursuant to this order with respect to that licensee. They shall not supervise more than 2 2020 limited licensees under the provisions of this order. So they can oversee 1, they can oversee 2. That's it. Subject to the restrictions of this subdivision, a 2020 limited licensee may engage in the following activities, but the practice is limited. Under the direct and ongoing supervision of the supervising attorney, a 2020 limited licensee may counsel a client with respect to legal issues. So you can meet with somebody and discuss legal issues with them, but it says direct and ongoing supervision. 2, under the direct and ongoing supervision of the supervising attorney, a 2020 limited licensee may prepare documents on behalf of a client, including documents that will be filed in the court, tribunal, or agency, and the supervising attorney's signature must appear on any documents that will be filed in the court, tribunal, or agency. So they're allowed to file stuff, but the supervising attorney's got to sign it too. And you might say, who cares? You know, people walk in, hand you something, here, sign this. No. When attorneys sign documents, most states have got court rules that explicitly say that an attorney who signs a document has reviewed it and is attesting and basically swearing to the court that the document is correct, accurate, being filed for the correct purposes, not being filed for the wrong purposes, and the attorney vouches for it. Okay, and that's actually a big deal. So if some underling is about to file something with the court and says, here, Steve, sign this, I ain't going to just sign it without reading it. I'm going to glance at it, look it over, and make sure that it's got my name on it. Okay? So that is a big deal. Under the direct and ongoing supervision of the supervising attorney, a 2020 limited licensee may appear for any activity subsumed within the practice of law. The supervising attorney or another attorney who meets the qualifications must be present for any such proceeding. So the licensee, the limited licensee, can appear in court, make arguments, conduct trials probably, but the supervising attorney must be present. So you're not going to get the full Monty to go fly solo here, okay? But it's not a bad way to do this. I don't know if I'd want a limited licensee attorney handling a murder trial right out of the gate without having somebody supervise them. But on the other hand, let's suppose that you're a small firm. You had this person clerk for you. They were getting ready to take the bar. The second they passed the bar, you were going to hire them as an attorney, and now they can't take the bar. Well, guess what? You can get them limited license, and maybe this is a great opportunity to transition them into practice. A 2020 limited licensee shall disclose in any legally related communications that he or she is a, quote, 2020 limited licensee. And the 2020 limited licensee may not hold himself or herself out as an attorney generally admitted to the bar of this court. So you can't get business cards made that say, attorney. No, you are a limited licensee for 2020. And likewise, on your letterhead, pleadings, papers, anything you file, you don't get to say the attorney at law just yet. You are a 2020 limited licensee. Duration. Permission to engage in the limited practice of law pursuant to this order shall commence upon receipt by the applicant of a written certification from the board that the board has received the declaration described above, confirming satisfaction of the requirements of this order, the supervising attorney certification described above, and the law school's confirmation described above. So you got to get a bunch of this stuff, okay? So you get that together. And then you get to engage in the limited practice of law as described above until the date of the next Pennsylvania bar examination to be administered after the effective date of this order if the 2020 limited licensee does not sit for that examination. So in other words, if you're not sitting for the next examination, you can do it and boom, you're done. Or the date on which the board announces the results of the next Pennsylvania bar exam to be administered after the effective date of this order if the limited licensee does sit for that exam. So you can continue being a limited licensee even after you took the bar exam but don't know the results yet. So that's kind of cool, because when I was waiting for my results, I was still clerking because I couldn't be an attorney. However, a person permitted to engage in the limited practice of law under this order who passes that next administration of the bar examination may continue to practice under this order until that person is formally admitted to the general practice of law. So there's often a little bit of time there. You get the results, they go, congratulations, you passed the bar. You got to get sworn in. But that's not that big of a deal. You can usually get sworn in pretty quickly. In no event may any person engage in the limited practice of law under this order after the date that is 6 months after release of the results of the next Pennsylvania bar exam to be administered after the effective date of this order. So that's it. That's it. So basically what they're letting you do is they're saying, look, we're going to give you a learner's permit. You can have a limited license to practice law with close supervision by somebody with 5 years or more of experience. And that person can oversee up to 2 people. And that's it. So it raises some interesting questions. Like, for instance, could an attorney charge to oversee a limited licensee? A thought that occurred to me. Some attorneys are quite mercenary. That is, they like to get paid for what they do. But I suspect it's actually going to be used as a learning experience for a lot of people. Kind of like, something, business is a little slow right now, and I got a little extra time in my hands, and here's somebody who needs my help. Maybe I can help them out. Maybe they'll work with me somewhere down the road. Who knows, So it's an interesting situation, but I've seen this now. People have sent me, and I don't have a list of the states here, but this is the kind of thing that's in flux all the time. But many states are now doing this. So if you're in one of those states and you're a law student, I assume you already know this. But I'm guessing that many of the people who follow my channel know that I'm an attorney in the state of Michigan, and I'm fascinated by the law business. And many of the people who watch this channel are not attorneys, but are still interested in how the legal business works. So I've been asked this question. There's your answer. So I hope you enjoyed it. Questions, comments, put them below. Otherwise, I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Lehto's Law. Why does someone believe you when you say there are 4 billion stars, but have to check when you say the paint is wet?